We're live. We are back. SmackDown has just gone off the air, live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Well, at least, from from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, live internationally on Netflix. The show has just ended. This is Wrestle News 365. Welcome to the Friday Night SmackDown post show. We're going to be discussing all things that happened on that show. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe. There's a lot to get into. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about technical issues. We're going to be talking about CM Punk, his first appearance in Saudi, and how he rapped on his first appearance in Saudi. I'm not making that up. That's a real sentence, yes. We're going to be talking about a title change, a brand new Women's United States Champion. We're also going to be talking about 3 title matches. 1 title changed hands, 2 stayed the same. There was disqualifications, there was victories in there. There was all that stuff to get into. So, yes, let me know your thoughts as always on the show. Click the like button. We've already got 40 people through the door. Let's see if we can get to double figures on the likes. And be sure to subscribe too. You can also see right here, there. We're just 4 subscribers away from 22,850. It's been an amazing night, a really long stream for Wrestle News 365. But we got there in the end. My goodness me, did we get there. Let's begin, as we always do in these post shows. Let's start at the end and talk about that main event segment, which was CM Punk rapping. Now, obviously, you're going to see all of these, bits here and all the sort of different clips and what happened in the show and what have you. Spoilers ahead, obviously. But usually we tend to find what people really want to talk about when we get on these post shows is what they've just seen. And what they've just seen is John Cena make one of his final appearances in Saudi Arabia. You can see right there. He came out, did his usual spiel. The Never Seen 17. He was getting his introduction. And what happened? He got confronted by this man. Yes, CM Punk. CM Punk came out as Punk Life. Yes, he had Punkonomics. It was John Cena's old Word Life theme song, and CM Punk came out dressed like that. He had the old, Chicago Cubs jersey on. He had the chain. He had the knuckle dusters. Instead of saying Word Life, it said Drug Free. And he rapped at John Cena. Yes. CM Punk rapped at John Cena for this Night of Champions Go Home segment. And as I said at the end of the watch-along, I can already see this is going to be polarizing. This is going to be divisive. Look, what's new when it comes to CM Punk, right? The Punk being in Saudi is polarizing and divisive. CM Punk earlier today, when he was in the Night of Champions kickoff show, got, to put it lightly, a mixed reaction from the fans in Riyadh, to nobody's surprise because of the things that he said in the past. And they obviously weren't happy, and they called him a hypocrite, etc. Everyone's been calling me a hypocrite, and he's insulted where they're from. This is sort of where they're from, so of course they're going to boo. He apologized to Saudi, and he apologized for the tweet he made 5 years ago in 2020. They then started to cheer a bit. They still booed. I thought, because of the reaction that we saw then, and every time his name was brought up this evening, I thought Punk's going to get booed out of the building. He's going to go into the Kingdom Arena there in Riyadh, and he's going to get booed. I still think he will get booed tomorrow. I still think that's going to happen. But whoever came up with this segment, whoever pitched it, whoever's idea it was, in one sense, it was to an extent genius. And you might say, how is that genius? The reason why it actually did kind of work is because nobody was booing Punk. You notice that? Because it was so different and everyone was like, what is going on? And because they heard Word Life. They didn't think, we weren't going to hear that. Crowd were actually into it. Crowd liked it. And they weren't booing, and they were chanting for CM Punk. And then Cult of Personality came on at the end, and they were cheering. So somehow, I don't know how, but somehow it worked in the sense that he got a positive reaction, which I didn't think was going to be possible after watching what happened at the kickoff show earlier today. So I guess that's a positive out of it. The negative will be that for people like myself, people of my generation, the feud growing up was John Cena versus CM Punk. I mean, that was the corporate face of the WWE good guy, top babyface, versus the top babyface of maybe the smart marks, or the top babyface of, the more, online social media fans that never really felt that they were represented on WWE television. And so to see them running it back, you go, wow, this is my childhood coming to life. They haven't wrestled since 2013, and it might have felt a bit of a waste that it was happening in Saudi as opposed to a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania or a big show in a big market. Not to say that Saudi is not a big market, because of course certainly it very much is, but it was almost like it was a go home promo befitting of people that maybe thought that like this isn't serious. This isn't serious. The logic does make sense. The logic makes sense in what Punk explained when he goes, well, Cena ripped off my pipe bomb last week. He did a bad version of my pipe bomb promo, so I'm going to do a bad version of John Cena's raps. And did he pull off the raps? I would lean towards saying no, he didn't pull off the raps. But he's not a rapper. He'd probably be first person. I mean, who knows? CM Punk, he's listening to all kinds of, punk rock. He is not listening to rap, freestyle rap, or anything like that. He's listening to the Ramones. He's not listening to, Tupac or Biggie Smalls. That's just not happening. So, some of the lines were good. I'd be better if the company hired my ex back, referring to Nikki Bella. The ones talking about you're like Hulk Hogan, just less problematic. That was a good one. A couple of the lines he stumbled over, which is always like the worst thing to do if you're ever trying to do like a rap or get your point home. If you stumble over the words and blah, 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 and do that, then your punchline's just never going to land, is it? That bit that's meant to be the point is never just going to pay off the way you would hope it would pay off. That happened a couple of times, but I don't know. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. Some people will, though. I'm very conscious of that, and they're going to be like, that's what you did. And the people certainly that don't like Punk, look, there are considerable amounts. There were people that didn't like Punk when he was in AEW. There are people that don't like Punk since he's gone back to WWE. The people that don't like Punk will hate this. Will hate it. Because they're already in the, you're a hypocrite, you're a sellout, you'd never go back to WWE. You said you'd never go to Saudi, now you're apologizing, and now you're doing this whole humiliation ritual out there. Look how you're dressed up. This is just sad what you're doing for the money. There'll be that element of it. Which I don't think is that, because I think if you look at CM Punk's career, he's not. I don't think he's not afraid to do like silly stuff. Punk's done silly stuff a lot. Punk's done a lot of silly stuff. He can be very goofy, and this is what it kind of came off as, a bit goofy. And then, but I suppose just this whole match and the build to I'm kind of lost for words, to be honest. Llewellyn says the Kendrick and Drake bar was fire. Yeah, he said he was going to be Kendrick and, Cena was going to be Drake and that. Llewellyn also says, more hits than misses in the Punk Life rap for me. It was a slow cook, but I liked it. I needed more back and forths, though. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of... Chiku says, well, Cena out-pipe bomb Punk. I don't think Punk was able to out-rap Cena, so it was kind of cringe. That's what I mean. Though I think those comments just highlight my point. This is going to be polarizing. Very much polarizing. This is going to be, you either enjoyed it and went, this was silly, Punk's not a rapper, but it was kind of a curveball. It's not what I expected. And usually we're so used to like these go home segments. It's just, right, the pay-per-view's tomorrow. These two men come face to face and they do their lines. Tomorrow night, champions, I'm going to send you to sleep and I'm going to leave WWE champion just like I did before. Well, I'm never seen 17. I'm the GOAT. You're just a sellout and a hypocrite. And that's what it is. And then they go off the air both holding up the championship, staring eye to eye, and that's your go home pose. So it's different from that perspective. It kind of reminds me of the go home promo to Survivor Series in 2001, The Go Home show segment, rather, for Survivor Series 2001 is the one where it's Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock in the ring. And basically, they just sang at each other. Legitimately, they sang country songs at each other. That was the Go Home segment. Is that the final segment before SummerSlam, like the Alliance versus Team WWF. And it's The Rock and Steve Austin, and they're doing, two of the greatest talkers ever, two of the biggest stars of the Attitude Era. And they just sang country songs. They sang The Gambler by Kenny Rogers and Margaritaville. And it's a classic Raw segment. In context, they go, this is bullshit. It doesn't make sense. So I kind of think it's a bit similar to that, where does it really sell you more on watching tomorrow, Night of Champions? Probably not. But was there going to be anything that was going to sell you more? Because it's CM Punk, John Cena. There's nothing to really sell at this point, is there? It's CM Punk, Cena. That's a match that hasn't happened since 2013. It's been 12 years. So I guess there is. What extra piece of business do we have to do? Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the chat. Get your super chats in, get your chats in the screen. Of course, we'll put them on the screen as per usual. If you're watching after the fact, let me know your thoughts in the comments. It's been a busy day for old Phil, hasn't it? With the apologies and with the rapping. And yesterday with the shoving the child. It's been an eventful couple of days for Punk in Saudi. No doubt about it. Yes, very interesting. We've got 70 people watching, which is fantastic. We're 3 likes away from 30 likes. If you haven't already, click the like button. 4 subscribers away from 22,850. Reminder, tomorrow we'll be live for Night of Champions, a watch along and a post show. As far for the rest of the show, I mean, that's what people will be talking about coming out of the show. A large majority of this show was an unmitigated disaster. Let's not dress it up here. The show began with Cody Rhodes. You can see him right there. And he doesn't even manage to get a word out. Out comes Randy Orton. We're going to get this promo segment. Of course, King of the Ring final. Winner faces their brand's world champion at SummerSlam. That's tomorrow at Night of Champions. This is going to be great. This is going to be fantastic. No, it's not, because the stream froze. And we got that for a little bit. Pardon the delay. The live event is starting later than expected. A little bit. It's already started, but there was a bit of a delay. And then, like some kind of, horrific torture. And I mean torture. We had to listen to the We'll Be Right Back music on Netflix for legitimately 30 to 40 minutes. And people might go, it was only 25. I don't know. It felt like an eternity. I don't know how long it legitimately was, but it was a long time. I want to say at least half hour, maybe longer. Now, as for what happened, some reports have come out. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select said, quote, during the WWE SmackDown broadcast from Saudi Arabia, there was a feed outage that caused broadcast issues for international viewers. After about 10 minutes into the show, international feeds froze, and the screens in Riyadh went out during a Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes promo. The talent were made aware of the issues, and after the promo, Randy Orton tried to kill time by speaking with the crowd. After that, Orton's theme played repeatedly as he went around meeting fans. About 25 minutes into the outage, Cody Rhodes came out to speak with the crowd, and internal screens began working again. Carmelo Hayes in street clothes was brought out to confront Cody Rhodes. He ended up eating a crossroads. The TV outage lasted over 30 minutes. Fightful say they've asked what caused the outage. Obviously, it will air as normal in the United States. They did actually tape the Orton and Cody segment, so that will air on USA this evening in its usual time slot. But it was brutal. To say the very least, it was brutal. And eventually they come back from it. And it's Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, and the show just carries on. Carried on with JC Mateo facing Jay Uso. He got the victory from hitting Tour of the Islands. The first, what should we say, third of this show, first hour of this show, not just because obviously of the technical delay, but some of the matches, I'm going to chalk it up to maybe the Saudi heat and the humidity. Some of these matches are in slow motion. I'm a big Jeff Cobb fan. And I've obviously seen him work in New Japan, seen him work in AEW on the few occasions he's been there. And he does good work, but at points in this one, he just looked a bit slow and a bit, out of breath. And I thought, well, Jeff Cobb, he is 42. But then also he hits a standing moonsault, and you go, that's unbelievable athleticism. So I don't really know what to expect from him. But he gets the win with Tour of the Islands. This then after the match, there's a whole thing where they try, he and Solo Sikoa, to get Jimmy Uso to rejoin the family, rejoin the bloodline. Jacob Fatu comes out and makes a save after they beat down Jimmy Uso. So they're continuing to tease this alliance, or maybe that, I suppose, Jimmy could turn and rejoin. My prediction for tomorrow has been, and I'll probably be wrong on this, but that maybe Tonga Loa return. Maybe they bring with them Hikuleo. That's what it takes to defeat Jacob Fatu, and I actually think Solo Sikoa is going to win the US Championship there. So we'll see what happens with that one. But in terms of an opening contest, it was a bit of a meh. And then we go to this, which we do have a brand new Women's United States Champion. Julia challenged Zelina Vega, and she won. Now, if I left it at that, I'd be doing the match a favor. It was absolutely the right outcome. Julia winning the Women's United States Championship is the right move. She can have better matches. She's a better worker. That is, I think, when I think about a mid-card women's champion, I think Julia, she can have great matches, and she can really help that championship. I was never big on Zelina Vega winning the championship in the first place. I didn't really understand it, unless their long-term plans were we want it to be on heel Julia, and she can't beat a heel Chelsea Green. Maybe that was the idea. I don't know. But Zelina Vega as Women's US Champion, she got an opportunity to shine, and I just don't think she did. Some of her matches, including going against Chelsea Green at Saturday night's main event, where she broke Chelsea Green's nose, and this one might have been the worst one, honestly. This match was, to say it was the drizzling shit, would be being actually quite nice and quite generous. This match wasn't good. It really wasn't. And even Julia in this one, it wasn't great. Some of her knees towards the end of the match didn't look good. Eventually, she gets the win. And like I said, it's the right outcome for Julia to win. But it wasn't good. It was not a good match. And certainly nothing to write home about. But it's the right decision for her to win the title. And hopefully she can do something with it. Next up, we had an interview segment where Barrett interviewed Jade Cargill and Asuka ahead of the Queen of the Ring final. They were interrupted by Naomi, who came out and sort of said about how obviously she's got the feud with Jade Cargill and she might cash in later. She did try to. And this led to Asuka getting the upper hand. Asuka laid out Jade Cargill ahead of the final. As I mentioned, Naomi came out. That was really that segment. If anything, maybe think more that Jade's probably going to win, which leads more theory to Jade winning. She faces the women's champion at SummerSlam. Maybe Naomi cashes in at some point, so it's Naomi versus Jade. And then Bianca Belair comes back. Is Bianca going to be a referee, or is Bianca going to be added? It's a triple threat. That feels like that's where that's going. I know the story on Raw could be Asuka wins Queen of the Ring, and she faces Io Sky. They teased that on Raw on Monday, former Damage Control stablemates. But someone did mention it in the chat earlier on, and it is kind of true, that do they need Queen of the Ring to get to that? Because you feel like they can kind of just do it anyway. So maybe, as Lil Yo-Yo's saying there in the chat, maybe it's one of those ones where her being involved in that SummerSlam match, Bianca Belair that is, maybe as a referee, and then turns on Jade and reveals she was part of the whole attack in the first place, which has kind of been one of my underlying theories going back even pre-WrestleMania. Maybe that gets paid off in the end. We'll see. We've got close to 100 people watching, which is fantastic, guys, on this SmackDown post show. If you are just joining us, we'll go back to Punkonomics. We spoke about it to begin with, but we can go back to it. Let me know your thoughts on it. And be sure to click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. 4 subscribers away from 22,850. Next up, we had a tag team match. There was a segment earlier on the show where the tag team division were bickering backstage. DIY was saying everyone needs to band together to stop the Wyatt Six. And Nick Aldis said, right, DIY, you're going to face Andrade and a tag team partner, and his tag team partner was Rey Fenix. Brilliant match. I mean, unsurprisingly, brilliant match. The bar at that point in the show was not very high, but I don't really know how you can have. I don't really know how you can have a bad match between Andrade Ciampa, Gargano, and Rey Fenix. And it'll be interesting to see if they continue to team up more in the future. We then had a thing where Ron Killings, R-Truth, they do the on-camera with the announcers. He comes out, but he got laid out by Aleister Black because, of course, for the second week in a row, Ron Killings had interrupted him backstage. So it looks like, I guess, Aleister Black's a heel. And afterwards, he had a segment with Damian Priest backstage. I must say, I do look at R-Truth coming back, and he does have the air of someone that he was let go. They didn't have any plans for him. He got brought back because of crowd support, and they've gone, right, we've brought him back, but we don't actually have an idea what to do. We don't, well, what are we going to do? Because we haven't got him factored in. So he's kind of like involved in this Aleister Black, Damian Priest story. And I don't know, there's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, about, Ron, you've come back, but remember, the reason why people wanted you back is because they liked R-Truth, the comedic R-Truth, and coming back a serious R-Truth, like, is that going to work? Is that what people wanted back? And what are they going to do with that? I don't know what they're going to do with that one, to be honest with you. Next up, we had the tag team title match. It was the Wyatt Six, Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis facing off against the Street Profits. Unfortunately, it ended in disqualification. The SmackDown tag team division surrounded the ring. They got involved. Everyone brawled. I would assume this is leading to some kind of multi-tag team match. You would have thought, considering it's Night of Champions, and that used to be the PLE where every championship was on the line, maybe it'd get added to tomorrow. Doesn't feel like that's going to be the case. So maybe at some point on SmackDown, we're going to have like tag team turmoil. And that's how it's going to be. Tag team turmoil is basically a tag team gauntlet match whereby, one person, two teams start, one pin. If you get pinned, you're out. Next tag team comes out. Perhaps maybe that's the direction that they're going in. But as far as the tag team match, it was fine. And that's a heck of a picture, isn't it, of Uncle Howdy. Next up, we had the last woman standing match for the WWE Women's Championship, Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax. And I actually really want to give the credit to both because this was physical, as it should be. A last man, last woman standing match, they're meant to be violent. The stipulation is you have to keep your opponent down for a count of 10. You have to incapacitate them. So you have to use weapons, you have to use violence. And to the credit of Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, they used kendo sticks, they used tables. Nia Jax went through about 1 million tables. We had a situation where Naomi came out, looked like Naomi was going to cash in. She didn't. Tiffany Stratton used the briefcase a couple of times, put Nia Jax through 2 tables at ringside, and Tiffany Stratton retains her championship. And also, she doesn't get cashed in on just yet. Although you do feel like that cash in is going to be round the corner, don't you? We're 9 likes away from 50 likes, by the way, guys. So if you haven't already, click the like button. 4 subscribers away from 22,850. And once again, then we got to the main event segment. John Cena makes his entrance, the usual, never seen 17, undisputed WWE champion. Before he can really say all that much, though, he's interrupted by Punkonomics. Yes, that is not. I'm not bullshitting you guys. That is a legitimate. I'm serious. That is a legitimate CM Punk doing Punkonomics. Now, actually, let me get a few more screen grabs of this. Let's get a few more screen grabs of this whole segment up, rather, because it's kind of wild, honestly. So yes, John Cena comes out. The last time is now. Comes out. Never seen 17. Does the pose. And then he's interrupted by Punkonomics. Yes, full on. It says Punk Life behind him. He's got the Chicago Cubs jersey. He's got the chain, importantly. He's got the knuckle dusters. They don't say word life, they say drug free. And that's a heck of a picture, isn't it? I mean, it really is. CM Punk says that because John Cena ripped him off last week and ripped off his pipe bomb, he's going to rip off John Cena and Punkonomics, and he's gonna rap. He's gonna rap at him, and lines included, such as "I'd be bitter if the company hired back my ex," referring to Nikki Bella. "You're like Hulk Hogan, but just less problematic." What else did he say? He said, "I'm Kendrick, and you're gonna be Drake. You're gonna be my Drake," or something. Some of the lines didn't maybe land as well as he would have intended, but he's not a rapper. He stumbled over stumbled over a couple. But like I said, it will be divisive. Some people will hate it and say, this was bullshit. This isn't how you sell a PLE. Look at Punk, he's a hypocrite and he's embarrassing himself, blah, blah, blah. Some will be like, you know what? It was different and I kind of liked it. I kind of liked that it was different. Lil Yo-Yo says there, I need to watch Punkonomics again. Punk cooked. Llewellyn says, imagine CM Punk coming out to Kendrick's Not Like Us. What else are people saying? Okay, Punk killed it. I thought he was going to be booed out the building. And that's my point I was making earlier on, right? That's my point I was making earlier on, is that whoever pitched this, I mean, that picture there, genuinely, you know the meme of, what's his name? He was in Boardwalk Empire, Steve Buscemi. You know the thing of Steve Buscemi where he's got a hat on and he's like, you know, hey young people, hey kids, and it's clearly a very old man in a hat. Basically, hey kids, what's going on with you young people? Right, I'm just gonna do a TikTok and, you know, and then look at memes for real. That's what it kind of that picture looks like. But I didn't hate it. And whoever came up with the idea, it is kind of genius, because if you watch the kickoff show, he got booed, heavily booed. And even though he apologized, he still got booed. Every time his picture was showed up tonight, he got booed. And every time they mentioned his name, he got booed. And then when John Cena's old theme hit, and he came out and did the rap, they liked him. They didn't boo him. They cheered. He celebrated with the fans on the guardrail. They were booing Cena. They were cheering Punk. So as batshit crazy as this idea is, Punk, why don't you go out there? You're in your mid-40s. You've got grey in your beard. Go out there with your baseball hat on kind of sideways and a chain on and knuckle dusters and get it over. And he kind of did. He kind of did. So I think you've got to give him credit for that. I think you've got to give him credit for, on paper, that creative shouldn't work, and to some it probably didn't. To some they'll say, look, the creative is never going to work, and for me that didn't work. But for others, you go, well, look at the crowd. The crowd. If you, Chico says, he got booed on the pre-show. It was Cena in Chicago kind of style on that pre-show. On that kickoff show today, it was rough. I did a news video on it, and he, you know, apologized, shook the hand of the crowd, and it was. I thought, wow. I thought it's actually kind of interesting. The interesting thing they could do is that it's the complete polar opposite of Punk versus Cena in Chicago in 2011, because that was the hometown crowd for Punk, who was the heel. They were, you know, they were cheering him, booing the shit out of John. It was hostile atmosphere. They could flip it now because John's the heel, but he's getting cheered. They hate Punk. He's the babyface, and it's a hostile atmosphere for him. I thought, that's kind of interesting if they lean into that, but they didn't. They had Punk go out there and rap, and the crowd liked it. So, I mean, Punkonomics, and putting my marketing hat on, because you know WWE, CM Punk and WWE, they're going to make a shit ton of money from action figures on that, because that's why people have different attires. That's what they say. That's Rey Mysterio. Always have different attires, always have pay-per-view attires and what have you. Why? Because they can make action figures out of that. CM Punk, or whoever come up with this, kind of genius. You'll sell action figures, Punkonomics, Punk Life. You'll sell T-shirts, Punkonomics and Punk Life. It'll be this whole separate range. So it's kind of a license to print money. I don't think it's a character that's going to be like, this is a new gimmick. But in the same way that you've got Kurt Angle, Sexy Kurt, and you've got Kurt Angle, Milkomania, and you've got the American Badass version of Kurt Angle with the sunglasses. It's the same kind of thing. So it's divisive. It's polarizing. But it's CM Punk, and I suppose anything he does is just that. It's polarizing and divisive, right? So it's pretty in character, and it's pretty in theme with Punk. So, yeah. I mean, I think it kind of worked. We're 6 likes away from 50 likes. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. We're 4 subscribers away. From 22,850. To see if we can get any final update. So, in an update, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fight for Select, WWE sources have said that a power outage to the control room and gorilla position area at the venue caused the issue. It is still going to air in as normal in the United States. So there was a power outage. That's what caused it. So if we have any more details on that, of course, we'll have a news video tomorrow morning. Reminder, going to be live Night of Champions tomorrow. Night of Champions watch along. If you're in the UK, it's a 6 p.m. show time, start time. So I'll be live 15 minutes before 5:45. And then same as I am right now, I'll be live for a post show after the show goes off the air. So we'll discuss the matches. We'll have screen grabs that you can see right there. And we'll be discussing maybe CM Punk wrestles in jorts tomorrow. Maybe he sticks to Punk life. Maybe Cena's in trunks. Maybe they go complete. It's very Freaky Friday, isn't it? It is Friday. So maybe they've gone completely Freaky Friday, perhaps. I don't know. I appreciate everyone that's tuned in for the streams this evening. Like I said, there'll be news videos tomorrow morning, and also there'll be the live streams. You can also become a member of the WN365 roster. Links in the video description below. You can scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. Speaking of which, you can see all upcoming live streams we've got on the channel. It's a big, like 3 weeks or so. We've got AEW All in Texas, watch along post show. That very day, we've got Saturday night's main event, watch along post show, Goldberg's retirement match. Then the next day, we've got WWE Evolution, the return of WWE's all-woman premium live event. So I'll have a watch along and a post show for that one too. And then, of course, we'll have SummerSlam at the beginning of August, a 2-night affair, and that will be a multi-stream. Yes, I'll be streaming on 2 channels at the same time. I'll be doing a Man United match for United View and SummerSlam for WN365. It's going to be a madness, so if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Click the notification bell, you'll be notified when new videos do come up or live streams do go live. Appreciate everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.